Now, back in the 19th century, these buildings were part of a great estate. They were home to a scientist who the locals referred to here as the Thunder and Lightning Man. Now, let's face it, that is quite a claim. So who was he and where are we? Well, join me in just a few moments and I'll tell you. On today's show, I'm helping two career hotshots who now want a shot at the good life. It's one of my trickiest house hunts.
But you're not saying very much, Mark, which is worrying me.
As not everyone sees eye to eye.
Is it going to be a bedroom or a studio?
Studio.
I say bedroom.
Well, today we are in Somerset, and these are the remains of Fine Court. Now, back in the early 19th century, this was once the site of a great mansion. It was destroyed by a fire in 1890, but back then it was home to a local scientist called Andrew Cross. He was playing around with the newly discovered power of electricity. In one trial, he placed a small volcanic rock into a bath of acid and passed a current through it. Tiny mites were said to have emerged from it, leading many to claim that he was playing God and trying to create life. Now, in fairness to Cross himself, it wasn't a claim that he would ever have made. And at a lecture explaining his findings, it's thought that one of the visitors was none other than Mary Shelley. The locals here like to believe that Cross was the inspiration for her Dr. Frankenstein. Now, of course, we'll never really know the truth of that, but it's just one of the lovely myths and legends that, for me, makes Somerset so enticing. Set in the southwest of England, the county of Somerset is bordered by Wiltshire to the east, Dorset to the southeast and Devon to the southwest. Somerset is best loved for its varied and undulating landscape, featuring the hill ranges of the Mendips, the Quantocks and the Blackdown Hills. Its ancient and historic terrain is home to world-famous natural wonders, such as Britain's largest gorge at Cheddar, with its dramatic cliffs rising 450 feet. Through the centre of the county runs the Somerset Levels and Moors, one of the UK's most important wetlands, and where the iconic Glastonbury Tor rises out of the landscape, its 15th century tower visible for miles around. Built from the local hamstone, the county is peppered with pretty villages and towns. All in all, Somerset shapes up as a vision of classic rural England. Now, here in Somerset, your average detached property will set you back £264,000. That's £7,000 more than the national figure for pretty much the same kind of property. And of course, there are the predictable hotspots. Anything within the Chew Valley could cost you another 15% on top of that. Why? Well, it's beautiful, it has some fantastic schools, and of course, it's commuter country for all those people working in both Bristol and Bath. So if you want my advice and you want a bit more value for money, head further south towards Chard and Crewkerne. There you will be spoilt for choice, I can assure you. So time now to meet today's buyers and find out what they're looking for. Southerner Mark and Julie from Scotland are IT consultants from opposite ends of the British Isles. They met at work and 3 years ago decided it was time for Mark to move into Julie's existing home in Edinburgh.
I bought this house just for me and the cat. It was big enough for the two of us, and since Mark's moved in, the house is just groaning at the seams. Every cupboard is stuffed full, the garage is stuffed full.
With all the stuff that we have between us, has been quite a challenge to find homes for everything.
Now, a new job for Julie in Bristol is giving them the chance not only to trade up their house, but also offering a much-wanted change of lifestyle.
I think our interests, they always have been rural. I mean, out of choice, we would have always have lived out in the countryside anyway. It's just, if you want a career, you've got to be in a city.
When we go down to the West Country, we're looking for the outdoor space. We like to be around animals. We want to do more stuff outside.
Home is currently a compact 3-bedroom house in Edinburgh's commuter belt.
What this area doesn't provide for us is the peace and quiet that we're really looking for. So this is an estate. The houses are very close together. There's just too much noise. We just want complete peace and quiet. I'm looking forward to the only thing waking me up in the morning to be either a cow mooing, a sheep baaing, or bird song.
This will be the first time they've bought a house together.
It gives us the opportunity to have something that we can call ours. Where we've had properties before, it's either been mine or Julie's, and this is the time for us to go and get something that's going to be what we want.
There are certain things that we do agree on, but there are lots of things that we don't in terms of what we want in the property. If we could have a wing each, it would be great.
But there's one thing they are in complete agreement on: the need for Julie's messy hobby of making stained glass to move out of the main house.
Just practically cutting glass in a house, there are shards of glass go everywhere, and it also takes up a huge amount of space. You really need a purpose-built room that you can actually just leave things exactly where they are, and you can go away and come back at a later date to continue it.
For their bigger, quieter new home, they have a decent pot of money.
The budget for the move is £500,000.
As Julie and Mark want a rural property no more than an hour from central Bristol, I'm concentrating our search in central Somerset, within striking distance of the M5. And I'm joining them to find out more about the specifics of their planned move.
Well, welcome to Somerset.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This is a long way from home for you, isn't it?
Yeah, a very long way.
Now, this is all motivated by your new job, isn't it?
Yes,
This is a chance for the pair of you to buy a house that's actually both of yours.
correct.
Yeah.
Something we hope which is a bit bigger, which certainly has a bit more character to it and certainly has a rural feel.
Yeah, we wanted to experience retirement before we retire, basically.
So country life is your way of retiring early?
Yes, definitely.
But
yeah.
still working.
But still
But
working.
still working, OK. Now, just give us an idea of what this house might look like. How many bedrooms and all that sort of thing do you need?
Minimum 3. We'd like a bit of land for doing, for keeping animals such as sheep, pigs, chickens, quail.
Quail?
Yeah.
A very refined taste you have. Is it quail's eggs that you're after?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
OK. So it's a bit of a menagerie, really.
But the house has got to be large.
Now, getting you a bigger house, I'm not worried about. My only concern, really, is this thing about land, because what you're describing, to me, is a small holding. And yes, you've got a very handsome budget of £500,000. The need to be closer to Bristol obviously puts us into Bristol's own kind of commuter belt, which comes with a price tag and a premium. Now, one other element that we do need to satisfy are your hobbies. So we want a nice workshop stroke outbuilding, because it's a great thing that you're doing with the stained glass.
There's a lot of use of blowtorches and smelly tallow and chemicals and things that you really don't want in your house, so we really need somewhere outside the house.
Again, outbuildings, I don't think are a problem with your £500,000. Are you ready to spend it?
Yeah.
Good. Well, we've got 3, I think, very interesting properties to tempt you with, including our mystery house, which we'll look at first thing tomorrow morning. But in the meantime, let's get going. After you.
Thank you.
For a budget of £500,000, Mark and Julie are looking for a minimum of 3 bedrooms and a formal dining room. They want character, but ideally not a thatched property. And as well as wanting some land, they also need a separate workshop for Julie's stained glass making. And all this must be located within a 1-hour commute of Bristol. It's quite a shopping list, but we've got 3 properties lined up, which all offer something different, and as usual, I won't be revealing their prices immediately. And for the final offering, the mystery house, I've got something up my sleeve that they really won't be expecting. We're kicking off the house search 6 miles east of the M5 in the rural village of Catcott. Surrounded by fields and farmland, Catcott is one of the 12 villages of the Polden Hills. It's home to a Grade 1 listed church dating back to the 13th century, and with a population of around 500, it's the epitome of peace and quiet. But should the tranquility become too much, this small settlement boasts 2 pubs. And not far from the centre of the village is our first property.
Right, in you come. In you come. What do you think to all this then? Come over here. This is our first property for you.
Looks good so far. Loving the stone.
Isn't it lovely? That bit is the oldest bit. It's about 300 years old. It's an old barn that's been converted, and then this bit was added about 3 years ago with some wonderful oak truck beams in it, wood burner and so on. The one thing we have to be upfront about is that we don't have acres and acres for you here. As you can see, it is quite an enclosed garden setup. But we do have access to somebody up the road who regularly rents out paddocks.
Okay.
All right, so if this little village community is for you, and if this house is for you, I think we can satisfy every end, but it is a fantastic property, this.
Looking forward to seeing inside it.
Come on, then, let's have a look.
With the option of land for animals off-site, this magical walled garden does fulfil their desire for a restful retreat from work, and I'm hoping the inside will impress.
So there, this is the new bit. What do you reckon?
Very nice.
Fantastic.
Loving
the wood.
the woodwork.
Isn't it beautiful?
And I love the stove.
Yep, yep.
And the light as well, coming in from the skylights too.
Is this the sort of thing that would work?
It's definitely a place that you can relax and, you know, chill.
And it goes on into the kitchen, which is here, which is again nice sort of open plan. There's a larder and a utility room through that door there. But it's got a lovely kind of flow to it, I think.
It is, yeah. And it's nice and country feeling too, isn't it?
But you're not saying very much, Mark, which is worrying me slightly.
Yeah. What's going on in my mind is, does it give us that formal space for formal dining?
Yeah, we don't mind doing the sort of informal things if we've just got house guests, but when it comes to big occasions like Christmas, etc., we do like to have the formal dining space.
I mean, there is the snug next door. That could become a dining room. You can, you know, adapt part of that enormous living room. Really
it does
good.
give a lot of options from what we've seen.
Yeah.
OK, let's continue this way.
It might not have a ready-made dining room, but as well as a separate WC, there is a downstairs third bedroom with its own ensuite shower and sauna. And upstairs there is a further guest double as well as the master bedroom.
Now, there are 2 bedrooms up here. None of them are en suite, but they are served by a very big family bathroom right next door.
Okay.
This is currently the master bedroom.
Yes, nice size.
Good high ceilings, fantastic light.
I do want to finish off with this, I think, amazing studio in the garden. It's currently set up as an ensuite, so it's a great annex for your guests, but could it be your workshop? Yeah, let's have a look.
Overlooking an ornamental pond, this single-storey cabin could make a fantastic stained glass studio for Julie.
What do you think?
Oh, wow.
Not bad, is it?
That's very nice.
The question is, does it stay as bedroom with ensuite through there, or is it going to be a studio?
Studio.
I say bedroom. We're not going to agree on this one, I don't think, but I actually quite like that this is separate from the house, and your guests have got the flexibility that they can, you know, get up whenever they want, they can go to the bathroom without disturbing you and all that sort of stuff, and, you know, they can sort of more or less be independent, but no, he wants them in the house.
East wing and west wing.
No, it would definitely make a good studio. But as I say, I like the fact it's got the ensuite and, you know...
Well, it means that you don't have to traipse in and out if you're all covered in chemicals and lead and acid and all the other stuff that you play with.
And there's another outbuilding currently being used as an office and extra bedroom, which could also be made into a workshop or more guest accommodation.
Have you got any idea of what property number 1 is on the market for?
I'm going to go for... top end of the budget, I think. I'm going to go for 495.
I'm going to go a lot less.
OK.
425.
This is on at £475,000. Obviously open to offers, but, you know, you do get quite a lot for it. The only issue, I suppose, is whether or not you can compromise on the lack of obvious acreage and whether the whole animal issue is one that's going to really take hold in your minds and you want to pursue more fully. But as a property to come in and live in, I think it works.
For a property to live in, it hits the mark, for me.
And you've yet to see that little studio outside?
Yes.
Go on then. Off you go. Explore to your heart's content.
For £25,000 under budget, this converted barn and outbuildings give Mark and Julie 2 large living spaces, a contemporary kitchen diner, a minimum of 3 bedrooms for visiting friends and family, plus a choice of 2 outbuildings for Julie's work studio. But is it enough house and garden?
Walking into that lovely family room, that was a revelation. I loved the oak beams, I loved the space, I loved the light. Whether it's a contender or not, I'm not sure, because we really do want some more outdoor space.
It's a beautiful house. It's got lots of things that we really like. I just think it lacks one room downstairs, which is either the dining room or a separate living area.
Ah, there you go. I was rather enjoying this. I thought you were going to take a bit longer. Thought maybe you'd found the kettle and made us a cup of tea.
Lots to see, lots to think about.
Well, I think this is a great start, certainly,
Yeah.
but I think we still have some way to go. Let's get going.
The scenic rural landscape of Somerset has long been shaped by its thriving agricultural industries. On the edge of the Mendip Hills, a new venture is making its mark. The community farm is a 22-acre plot run by volunteers. This not-for-profit scheme focuses on producing food that buyers can trace. It also aims to teach people how to grow their own produce. As Mark and Julie are looking for a property with land for an orchard and space to grow their own vegetables, we've arranged for them to meet farm manager Andy Dibben to give them a head start on setting up for a more self-sufficient lifestyle.
So can people come along and get involved?
That is our main aim, really, is to encourage as many different people to come and share the site with us, whether that be just enjoying the beautiful location and being in the fresh air and getting some good, healthy exercise. Obviously, learning about how to grow and harvest and store vegetables. And that education side, that goes right from the very beginner right up to sort of high-end professionals who want to hone their skills a bit more.
We're looking for a house in this area with a couple of acres. Can we get some advice from you?
Definitely. I mean, that's what we're all about. So, I mean, what I can do today is run you through some of the basics of growing your own veg and give you some advice and hopefully help to get you started.
Great.
Right, have you come with me then?
Having only dabbled with growing a few potatoes before, Julie and Mark could do with a few pointers.
So what I'm going to start off with is some basic seed sowing techniques. So obviously this is called a plug tray. The first thing is to fill it. So we've got a good old dustpan here, and we just basically put a big pile of compost on top of the tray like this. And then with your hands, you're just going to move this around. The next thing we do is the seed. What I do is I just push them slightly down into the middle of each cell, like that, is I might pass the job on to you. So if you want to put your hand out, I'll pour these into your hand.
And is the depth important here?
Yeah, the depth is important. If they're too deep, they might not germinate. And if they're too shallow, they might dry out too quickly.
These are lettuce seeds, and it's best to put 3 in each cell just in case some don't grow.
Now that the seeds are all planted, what we're going to do is just water them in a little bit, make sure there's enough moisture in there just to sort of soften that seed and get it to germinate.
The cell trays allow lots of seeds to be planted in a small space. But once they start to grow, the lettuces are transferred into polytunnels. This crop will end up being sold to the public in seasonal delivery boxes. Volunteers harvest the farm's produce throughout the year, and the current crop ripe for picking is the runner bean.
OK, so this is the nice end of the operation. This is where we actually get to harvest some of the hard work over the year.
These rows harvest between 60 and 70 kilos of beans each week. So let's see how much Mark and Julie can contribute towards that impressive load.
So off you go, see how many beans you can get. If you're struggling to find any lower down, always just track the plant all the way up to the top. There'll be some nice bigger beans.
So would this be something that we could grow in our small holding?
Almost definitely. I think it's one of the first crops I'd plant anywhere, really, would be runner beans. Most things, really, if you're growing on a small scale, I'd have a go at. And that's the way you learn. It's sort of trial and error, really.
Over the year, the farm produces around 50 different varieties of fruit and vegetables, all of which are organic and almost all of which are harvested by hand.
That's a lovely one you got there, Mark. It looks like you've got enough beans now for your tea. I think we'll go and see what else we can find to add to that, shall we?
I don't think that's a bad pickings.
It's magic.
With dinner sorted, it's back to the property hunt, and we've found a gem. The search is taking us south to the village of Othery, which is just on the edge of Julie's maximum commute to Bristol of 1 hour. The village was established back in 1515, and given that today it has a small population of around 600, Othery has rather good amenities, including a bakery, a pub and a village shop. And just a short walk away is our second property.
So, what have we got here for you?
Ooh,
How about this?
Nice.
Yeah?
Very nice.
What do you make of number 2?
Very pretty. I like the stone. I love the front door.
Yeah.
It's absolutely gorgeous. Looks like it's got a fair amount of character.
Oh, yes. If I tell you it goes back to between 14 and 1500,
Oh, fantastic.
you've got loads of character. There is also that enormous barn attached to it, which I'm going to describe as a kind of party barn. It is a really good space. And I know we've talked about, you know, friends and family coming down and you entertaining. Clearly, you know, the dining room was a good indication of your need to entertain. That's a great spot. Right. Great spot.
Well, excited to see the inside now.
This I am excited about as well. Come
Good.
on.
That's a great reaction for the outside of the property, and I think Mark and Julie will be impressed with how much house they'll get for their money on this one.
So let's start with one of the 3 reception rooms this place offers you.
Very nice. I
Yeah?
do like this.
Very
yeah.
impressive.
What's working?
The fireplace, the size of the room, the height of the beams, just at the right height.
This is working well, isn't it?
It
It is so far, yeah.
So far.
Want
a
to
good
see,
feeling.
Want to see more.
Right then, let's go to the kitchen.
There are 2 further living rooms, both with exposed beams and inglenook fireplaces. In this house, they're spoilt for choice as to where that formal dining room would go.
This is the kitchen, guys.
Very nice. Very nice.
Bigger than the last one.
Yeah?
Far more cupboards, which is something that we're looking for.
Oh,
I
yeah.
like the worktop.
Worktops.
There's definitely more smiles coming from you on this one. Come on, there's so much to get through. Follow me.
A corridor leading to a rear conservatory concludes the downstairs layout, and the spacious ground floor is definitely ticking boxes for Mark. Upstairs offers just as much, with 4 good-sized bedrooms full of period features and 1 family bathroom.
So this is what we've got in mind for you two.
Nice
Yeah.
size.
Yeah?
It's a good size.
Plenty room for furniture. Plenty room for the wardrobes. Yeah, nice and light with the windows on either side.
Good.
And similarly to our first property, you've got the annex with another double bed in it. But I really want to finish off in the garden, and we'll talk about the price of property number 2 as well.
Great.
Okay.
Yeah? Go on, after you. Lead on.
The space in this house is clearly a winner, and the annex gives them more than expected too. With 3 rooms downstairs and a mezzanine bedroom upstairs, there is plenty of space to house both the workshop and guests.
So as you can see, here is the rest of the garden. We had a glimpse of it when we arrived back there. But within its half an acre, it's got some quite interesting little zones. So I think you've got room enough, certainly for plenty of vegetable gardening, and indeed for some chickens, and maybe some quail.
As a garden, it works for me.
Does it work for you? Because I know space is the key issue.
It's not far off it.
Before I send you off, I want you to go away armed with the price. You've got $500,000 to spend. Where do you think property number 2 comes on the scale?
Near the top, 485,000.
485,000, yeah, okay.
I'm going to go 490,000.
490,000. You're both wrong, but you're not far off, in fairness to you. This one is bang on the budget at £500,000. How do we feel about that?
Quite good.
Yeah, I would.
It surprises me because it's a lot of house.
It's a huge
For
amount of house.
£500,000.
I know it hasn't got everything,
Yeah.
but it's got an awful lot going for it. And you haven't been in there yet. Go on, off you go. Go and find a studio, and I'll catch up with you later on. Brilliant. I'm very happy.
So bang on the budget at £500,000, this converted farmhouse offers all the space they could wish for, with 4 bedrooms and 3 spacious living rooms. There's enough land to start their bid for the good life, as well as the huge annex and an unconverted barn which might need a bit of vision.
This is some space, isn't it?
Yeah. What would you do with it, though?
Well, all those things that we've got to store, we've got somewhere to store them now.
That's true. House 2 has been a bit of a surprise, actually. Inside, you know, the rooms are full of period features. It's quite quirky in its layout, and the garden's plenty big enough. Lots of potential out there for growing. But, I mean, I could definitely see myself living here.
This house is definitely a contender. The amount of space we've got, the rooms downstairs, the bedrooms, bonus features, the outdoor annex, which would easily convert into an office as well as a studio. The barn, well, what a space. Loads of potential there. It's just got generally a really good feel to it.
Right, out you come. You have had a lot to explore. We've given you loads of time on this one, but well worth it, I think.
Yes.
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 Is it a contender?
Absolutely.
Yes.
It should be. I love it. I was very excited to show you this one. But it's been a long day. We've got our mystery house awaiting us tomorrow morning. So time now for some supper and a drink, maybe.
Yep.
Yeah.
Come on then.
It's our last day of house hunting here in Somerset. For a budget of £500,000, Mark and Julie want to relocate from Edinburgh to a beautiful country retreat. Still to come, we face a difference of opinion on the finer points of architecture.
Loving the wonky walls.
I think you're more into the wonky walls than he is.
Yeah.
And I discover an unusual way to brush a horse's tail.
You have to be careful with your knuckles.
Well, guys, I thought yesterday ended rather well with our second property.
It did, yeah.
But something else has cropped up, and I'd like you to share it with the rest of the world. This cow. Tell us how you've ended up with a cow.
So I did some interview coaching for a colleague at work. When he got the job, he said, when I get my first bonus, I'll make sure you're looked after. And I had said, no, don't bother. Your dad owns a dairy and beef farm, so I'll just have one of your cows. So that was the deal.
You got the job and you got a cow.
Yeah.
Well, our final property, our mystery house, will offer you more land. But as always, there's a bit of a catch.
It's not thatched.
I couldn't possibly say.
For our final property, I'm taking Mark and Julie 6 miles further south to the small town of Langport, just over an hour from Bristol city centre. This ancient market town was once an important trading post. Many of the historic buildings have been lovingly restored, including the curious hanging chapel which sits on an archway over the road. With shops, doctors and a library, all amenities are covered. And just a mile up the road is today's mystery house.
So you remember in the car,
Yeah.
you said, is it going to be a thatch? There it is. It is a thatch. And I know you've got some misgivings about thatch properties. You're not alone. There are many misconceptions about thatch properties, that they're going to burn down, that they leak, that they're damp and all the rest of it, that they cost a fortune to insure, none of which is true.
Okay.
You know, thatch has been around for literally thousands of years. It is a brilliant and very durable material. And it does create the classic kind of chocolate box image of your new country home. We've got you 1.63 acres
Right.
that run up behind here through a lovely kind of range of gardens up to orchard, paddock,
Oh, lovely.
and so on and so forth.
Okay.
Let's have a look then.
Yeah, come on then. Let's see what you think of it.
I'm relieved the thatch hasn't put them off, because the land behind this charming cottage with annex could make it a winner.
So to start with, downstairs loo and shower room in there, and a little cloakroom, and then this is kitchen.
Oh, small.
Well, we've spoilt you, haven't we?
You have.
We spoilt you with what we've seen already, but that's the kind of compromise.
I like the beams, and you know, the way it's been done out is actually really nice.
It is all done. I mean, there's not a great deal to have to worry about, but yeah, it is that bit smaller.
Let's see the rest.
Yeah, come on in. He's thinking it won't take long. Well, next to the kitchen, the dining room, obviously. I know this is important to you.
Oh, nice.
That
Yes.
is nice.
Yeah?
Yeah. And I really like the way they've made a feature of the brickwork and sort of rendering halfway up the wall.
Yeah.
It's very cosy and it is very, very pretty.
Right then, living room.
Yeah.
So across this little hallway then is the living room. Watch your heads. There.
Very nice.
Yes.
Now, this has got a great big smile from you, Mark.
Yeah, it's just
The fireplace.
the fireplace.
Yeah, we've not been short of an ingle nook or two this week.
No.
So there's lots of features in here to recommend it. The annex is self-contained at the moment, but you can access it through that little door there, which takes you into a little sort of lobby. We'll get you to have a look at that a little bit later on. On a practical level, seriously now, you know, would this suffice?
It would me.
I still think it's a room short downstairs, but as you say, you've got this annex next door, and
Yeah. Certainly you could, you know, spill through into there if you wanted to.
Yeah.
You'd still have to duck. Because you couldn't chop the beam out. But, you know, for all of its size, bizarrely, it's got 4 bedrooms upstairs, not including the annex.
really.
Yeah, come and have a look at this.
With exposed beams throughout, there is 1 double room and 2 smaller ones for visiting friends and family. And then there's the master.
Come on in.
Very nice.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Loving the wonky walls. Love that. It gives so much character to the room.
I think you're more into the wonky walls than he is.
Yeah.
OK, all right. But, you know, in terms of your classic slice of sort of country living, as it were, you know, this is the picture, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
It's a bigger room than I expected.
Yes. And, of course, the other thing is that you get a really good-sized ensuite through there. Go and have a look. It is the bathroom up here, so your guests have got to use the shower room downstairs.
It's a nice size.
It's a nice size. Nicely kitted out too.
Yeah? OK. Well, that more or less concludes the property as such, with the exception, of course, of the annex, which I'm going to let you explore at your leisure later on. Next, however, I think we should get to the main event, which is outside.
Yeah.
The garden and the paddock and somewhere for this cow. Yeah? Come on.
For Julie's stained glass making, there are outbuildings aplenty with a garage, 3 sheds and a stable. And across the formal lawns is the land that I think is the real draw.
Now then, we talked about the good life and self-sufficiency. What about that for a bountiful vegetable patch?
Yeah,
Yeah,
and compost heap.
Compost heap. You've got 2 greenhouses.
Yep.
It's kind of all here. And we haven't got to the rest of the land yet.
Keep going.
Yeah, come on then.
The ready-made vegetable plots would give them a head start on their dreams of a small holding, and this property offers them just under an acre of paddock, more than enough for Julie's new cow.
So this is it. This is the paddock and orchard. So, Mark, would this work?
It would work, yeah, definitely.
Good.
Even the way it's been laid out is not dissimilar to something I would have done myself.
OK, good. So, madam, you can go first for our last guess.
Okay, so.
Make us an offer on the mystery house.
Well, we've gone smaller on the house, bigger on the ground, so bang on our budget of 500,000.
Mark?
I'm going to go over budget at 520,000.
£520,000. You're not bad at this, you two, to be fair. But on this occasion, you, madam, are right. Yes, £500,000.
So I'm lucky.
That
Gets you
surprises me.
the mystery house. Happy?
Yeah,
very.
very happy.
Good. Off you go. Keep smiling. And I'll catch up with you a little bit later on. Brilliant. Well, as you've probably gathered, this has not been the easiest house search. We've had an awful lot to accommodate within the confines of a budget, albeit a very generous one. And on top of that, this morning, I discover there's also a cow being thrown into the mix. But at long last, I think we might have got there. Once again, our mystery house might just have done it.
For £500,000, this chocolate box farmhouse offers 4 bedrooms, 2 living spaces, and just over 1.5 acres, including formal gardens, vegetable patches and a paddock, plus a self-contained annex which could be remodelled.
It would make much more sense if it was part of the main house.
Yeah, it might be better sort of use this end of the house as a kitchen
Yeah.
and do something else with the other end of the house, like a family bathroom. I absolutely love the mystery house. It's everything that I could want and a little bit more. I love the wonky walls, I love the quirkiness of the place, I love the exposed beams, everything I could want in a garden, and that little bit extra being the paddock as well, so it's absolutely perfect for me.
Cracking house. Didn't expect to find a house of this kind of character. The gardens are wonderful, the different areas. My only reservations would be what to do with the annex. something, if there was a way through into that annex and we could change the format of the rooms to give us a bigger kitchen, then I think we'd definitely be onto a winner.
So what are you thinking about the thatch then?
Are you still agonising over thatch?
I'm afraid so.
I thought this might have been a turning point. Well, look, I think we have given you 3 very interesting options.
Yes.
And maybe we found you a solution. Who knows? Yeah? Should we go and have a cup of tea and think about it?
Yeah.
Come on then.
Somerset is essentially a rural county, but over the years it's also been a centre for industry, with coal mining, quarrying, wool, weaving and textiles. Much of this manufacturing declined long ago, but thankfully some is still thriving, and today I'm visiting the South Somerset town of Castle Carey to see the last remaining horsehair weavers in the UK. Established in 1837 by a travelling Scotsman called John Boyd, today it's run by Managing Director Anna Smith.
Hello, Anna.
Hi.
I'm Jules. Very nice to see you. Now, this is what I was hoping to see.
Yeah.
A classic, old-fashioned kind of weaving shed.
Yeah.
And here you are holding some of the famous horsehair.
Yes.
But what is it about horsehair that makes it such a fantastic fabric?
It's a very unusual fabric. It's a very, very strong, resilient fabric. It'll last more than 100 years if it's properly upholstered. It was the original fabric used by Chippendale, Hepperwhite, Rennie Mackintosh. So if you have a good piece of furniture, it's the right fabric to put on it.
But to many people, the idea of making anything from horsehair might seem quite unusual. It's a fashion that's kind of disappeared, really. Why?
I mean, it was very, very popular in Victorian times. Originally, they used local horses, and then when the car was invented in 1890, there just wasn't as much horsehair available. So we would travel up to London, we'd meet hair brokers from overseas and source the hair from
Hair
other
brokers?
countries.
That's like a commodity broker, but dealing in horsehair.
Yes, yes.
So where do you get it from now?
It comes mainly from Mongolia and Siberia, where they still use working horses.
That's incredible, and yet here it is in Somerset.
Yes, yeah.
To prepare the hair for weaving, it's first washed and then dyed. Each tail starts off in its natural state and is stained to order from a choice of over 200 colours. Once dyed, and before it can be weaved, the hair needs to go through one more traditional process.
Duncan.
Hi there.
Hello, mate. How are you? Chief wizard of the dyeing process.
Yeah, well, yeah.
And also of hackling. This is hackling, is it?
This is hackling, yeah, yeah. This is done to remove all the short and broken hairs.
Potentially quite dangerous by the looks of it.
It is, yeah. You have to be careful with your knuckles.
But also, I imagine, quite cathartic, is it?
It's not too bad. Gives you time to think. Sorry.
Can I have a go?
Yeah, of course you can, yeah, yeah. Just hold it tightly there and start at the end.
Start at the end?
Yeah, and work your way up.
Look at that, it's lovely.
OK.
Sort of flaxen-haired lump of mane. Look at that. So just flop it on.
Just flop it on the end and pull it through. That's it, you feel it.
Oh, yeah.
A bit, and then you go a bit further next time.
Oh, I'm with you. Yeah, just sort of working your way down
Yeah, yeah, pulling the knot.
the tail. So how much hackling do you have to do on one of these pieces of hair?
Until it runs through smoothly, basically. So
it's getting there.
yeah, it varies. It can take a couple of minutes. It can take 5 or 10 minutes.
So once you've finished your hackling, I guess it's pretty much ready to go onto the looms.
Incredibly, the looms at this factory are the originals, making them around 150 years old. The lengthwise threads, known as the warp, are made of cotton, silk or linen. The horizontal threads, known as the weft, are the individually inserted horsehairs, and each loom can produce just 2 to 3 metres of fabric a day.
And here it is, finished. And what I love about this is that you can still see the individual horsehairs. Just remind us how many of those there are to the inch.
There's 90 hairs in 1 inch of cloth, and they're all put in individually.
And here we have it, well, in its applied form, the finished product, doing what it's supposed to do.
Yeah.
Is this the sort of thing that we might expect to see in royal palaces, for example?
Yes, we supply to royal palaces both here and also overseas as well.
In fact, its durability and unique lustre have made it a much sought-after textile. Fabric woven here in Somerset graces some of the world's finest interiors, from the Ritz to the Thai Royal Palace and Hampton Court to the White House.
So is it a market that's now growing again?
Yes, we're very fortunate. A lot of contemporary designers are showing a lot more interest in the product because of its unusual properties.
Well, I think it's absolutely fabulous, and it's a real treat to see that it's a tradition that's very much alive and well here in Somerset.
And let's hope it's a skill that can continue for at least another 150 years. Well, the show is almost over, but of course there is one final thing we need to do, and that is to sit both Mark and Julie down and find out if we've managed to find them their new home of the future. Now, there is no getting away from the fact they've certainly made us sing for our supper this week, and the challenge, it seems to me, has got greater as the days have gone by. So have we managed to crack it? Well, let's go and ask them. Well, this has been an interesting week.
It has indeed.
It has indeed. Have we managed to find you a new home?
No, I think is the short answer. But given us some really good properties to look at and lots of things to think about.
His face said it all. You were too slow in answering.
Can I pick bits of each three? One bit from each.
You would not be the first buyers to want to put all of our properties into a bag, shake it all up and pull out your dream home.
Yeah.
But have you taken away a clearer vision of what it is you are now looking for?
I think we have. Yeah. The land is important,
Yeah.
but probably not as important as the size and the rooms in the house.
You see, that's why I thought property number 2 was going to be the one. The scale of the property that was on offer.
It was massive.
I think it was kind of what to do with that big barn at the end and stuff. We kind of felt that was a bit of a money pit.
Party barn. But you don't need to do anything with it. But we then tempted you with our mystery house this morning.
Yeah.
Which offered you bags of land, and that certainly seemed to resonate with you, Mark.
It did. It was perfect. You know, you had everything in that garden.
And the but was the size of the property.
Yeah.
Mainly the size of the kitchen.
Really? So if we could put property 2 in property 3's location.
In the middle of property 3's location.
It would be perfect.
Right. But I guess you are understanding now, perhaps a bit more clearly, the limitations on what the budget can do. So actually, we've sent you off having to find more money and still as confused as you were when you arrived.
No, we're not. I'm not confused. It's been a great experience, and seeing the contrast between the 3 different houses, you know, it's built a good story for me for what I need to look at in the future.
Yeah.
Well, I've certainly enjoyed it. You can't beat house hunting in Somerset, whatever the outcome. Best of luck to you.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Now, in making sense of this week's show, you might think it's a bit disappointing that we haven't managed to sell any one of our houses, but in truth, Somerset's property market itself didn't really disappoint. We had 3 fantastic options. What it has done, of course, is bring into sharp focus for Mark and for Julie 3 key things. 1, what's available. 2, what they really want. And finally, what it's now going to cost to actually get them there. Who knows what their future really does hold. I'll see you next time. If you'd like to escape to the country in Wales, Scotland, Northern Ireland, England, or perhaps further afield to the continent and would like our help, then please apply online at bbc.co.uk/be on a show.